once again, and it is time to make another Little Mac guide. This time, though, thankfully, I will be, discussing stuff a little more in depth and trying to really explain more about Little Mac because I feel like he really should be explained better. A big thing about Little Mac that you want to keep in mind is that he is not like every other character. He never will be. He really just isn't ever going to be like every other character, and that's just kind of the rope. A lot of your basic combos and stuff, a lot of combo starters will probably start with up tilt and down tilt. You will definitely want to keep that in mind because all of your basic stuff is going to come from down tilt and up tilt. Down tilt has a lot of good range. All of his tilts trample, so both up tilt and down tilt are safe to use if you're being attacked from the front. Up tilt crosses up and it covers from above, so it's good for that. You're definitely going to want to start out with simple stuff like down tilt side B or down tilt F tilt. That's a good combo. Down tilt, down angle F smash works, although that's not an actual combo. It's not true, but it works. It's just not necessarily true. Your basic 2-hit combos, and those will set you up for bigger stuff. You can definitely get good shit off of those combos alone. Those combos alone will lead to a lot more, which we will talk about soon. Another big thing you want to keep in mind with Little Mac is how much you move. You definitely want to move with Mac a lot because he's fast, but you also don't want to run too much. You want to walk a lot too. Make sure you utilize walking, because walking with Little Mac is really good for micro spacing. It's good for just about every situation, except for closing really large gaps, obviously. It's really helpful. Another big thing about movement, for example, is this. Blaster Z, the man who's provided me with these 2 clips, was showing this off. It's very silly. You really are just wiggling the stick back and forth, at least to my knowledge. There's other ways to do it that I've learned, but it's a really dumb but useful little movement option, and it really throws people off. It's kind of silly. Here's the thing about down angle F smash, is that it does a fuck ton of damage, but it doesn't do a lot of knockback. But the amount of damage that it does puts them up at percent to where you need them to be for kill confirms much faster. But it also sets up for tech chase situations, which is very, very nice. You want that. You want things to set up into tech chase situations, because if it doesn't set up into a tech chase situation, then you're going to end up being stuck with trying to reset neutral again. Mac's biggest strengths come from playing neutral with tech chases. You're not looking for true combos here. You're looking for tech chase situations, and you're looking for reads. And you want to be really, really good with tech chasing, and you want to have good reaction speed. Everybody thinks Little Mac is easy to play until they've played him at a level where it actually requires you to think. Mac's strength comes from how good he is at tech chasing, how good he is at reaction punishes. It's hugely important to be good with those 2 things, to be good with Mac at a top level. A simple ledge combo you could do would be down tilt, fair, side B. Now, there's only 1 frame between fair and side B, which technically makes it a true combo. It's hard to escape unless you get it at the wrong percent, in which case you can usually jump or just fall down, but at the right percents, unless you have a frame 1 escape option, like Bayo or Snake, you're pretty much stuck. That's a very simple combo that you can utilize. It usually works around 60 to 65% reliably, I'm going to say. You can do it lower, but it's not safe lower or higher than that usually. But sometimes it works, but it's safest around 60%. Down tilt, F tilt, down tilt, down angle F smash, down tilt, side B. Those are all good tech chase options. You can do any of those in between all of that. Like, you can do down tilt, down angle F smash, down tilt, down angle. You can do down tilt, down angle, down tilt, F tilt. Those are all interchangeable. There's also little things like falling up air. I can combo into stuff. I've had a combo into up B, I've had a combo into up smash. You can combo it. It's hard to land. It's very tiny, so I wouldn't recommend trying it unless you're really confident you'll land. you'll land it, but it can happen. You never know, man. A good chunk of your neutral is definitely going to be centered around moving and using tilts, but the main tilt that I feel like you should be using in neutral when you're trying to cover options or doing a quick punish is probably up tilt. It's an enormously useful little move. It can be pivot canceled really well and very easily, obviously, since it's just an F tilt. It hits twice, so even if the first hit misses, the second one is probably going to hit instead, especially if they parry. It's really strong. It kills fairly early from the left or right side of the stage. It's good for setting up tech chases at low to mid percents usually. Then you have kill confirm, which is down tilt, down angle, down tilt, down angle, down tilt KO. Now, that's true there at that point, but only if they miss the tech twice. But you can just down angle, down tilt, down angle, down tilt KO punch, and that'll kill still. I used to do down tilt F tilt, down tilt KO, but it doesn't put them at high enough percent for it to work. So really down angle into down tilt KO usually will work because it puts them up high enough after that. But it really just depends, especially since it's coming from zero. As a 0 to death, there's a very good chance it's not going to kill. But you can read something out of the down tilt into KO punch. All it just comes down to how good you are at reacting. And as I mentioned before, down tilt is a very useful little tool as well. The thing is very good. It has a lot of range, so you can freaking double down tilt somebody at the side of the fucking stage and side B and kill them at that percent. It's fucking useful. It's got a lot of range, it tramples, it pokes very easily. It's a very good move. It's one of the best down tilts in the game, in my opinion. It's not as good as it used to be in Smash 4, but it's still a really good freaking move. It really is. There's also other little combo starters that I know about that I've shown some of my friends that are nice, but they're not as useful unless you know how to apply them. Some stuff like Nair, where you can, do stuff with that, but it's hard to land and it's not as reliable as everything else on this list is. Really, really hard to find things that work. Fair as well works. You can use fair to combo into stuff. I've done that plenty of times. You can combo fair into down tilt, into side B and stuff like that if you landed at the right times. There's just so much fucking stuff you can do with his aerials that people don't really know about. You can gimp people with Dare and Bear. I mean, as long as the recovery is bad enough, you can gimp the Belmonts with Bear. You can gimp most characters with an average recovery with Dare, as long as they don't have a jump. He has a lot of stuff he can do. It's not as useful as it might sound, but he's got stuff. People just don't look very deeply. I also want to talk about Mac's jab, because it's frame 1. He has a frame 1 jab for whatever fucking reason. Now, it's not terribly useful, but it can really get you out of fucking situations very quickly sometimes. And it's really weird. I have actually stopped, like, split-second moves with that thing. Like, I've run up to Charizards during, Flare Blitz and just poked them out of it. I've stopped quick attacks, I've stopped, like, charge smash attacks, I've even stopped KO punches with this thing. It's stupid. It's really, really dumb how useful it can be. It's not useful in most situations, but when it does work, it's surprisingly useful. It's a very silly little move. I wish people knew more about Mac, but I'm also kind of glad people don't, because it just makes it so that there's really never an excuse. There's never an excuse to not know about this character. There's so many guides out there. This probably isn't even the only one that's going to have this kind of this information. There might be already covered. There's probably guides out there that cover most of this as it is. You can jab lock really well with Mac, you can tech chase, you can do all kinds of shit with this character, and people really just don't pay attention to that. It's really, really sad. I try to inform people when I can, but it just, sometimes people don't want to listen, man. They really just don't. Alright, so let's talk about KO Punch for a minute. Now, when I talk about KO Punch, I don't talk about it too much because everybody thinks this move is like that. You're dead. That's not even remotely how KO Punch works, actually. The big thing about KO Punch is that you really got to know how to use it, because it really only true combos at around 60%, like I said. It has invincibility, or it has super armor on frame 7 and 8. It goes through everything. Nothing can stop it except Wonder Wing, because Wonder Wing's invulnerable. It's blocked, it cannot be countered, it cannot be focused through by the Shotos. Nothing can stop grounded KO Punch. It's one of the strongest. You know what? I feel like it probably is like the strongest kill move in this game, relatively. It's essentially impossible to stop unless you beat it out or in the air, because aerial KO Punch is essentially the worst move in this game. That being said, you can combo into it from 60% with down tilt. You can do kill confirms into it, like the one I showed earlier with the tech chases. You can even do weird stuff like Trombones does, or Trombones and Gonard do with freaking platform chasing techs, like dare into down tilt KO or things like that. Like it's crazy the kind of shit that you can achieve with this character. I also want to talk about his disadvantage state. His disadvantage state is hard to really explain because his disadvantage is fucking terrible. It's awful. It's not that, like, because when he's in advantage, he does really good. He does amazing when he's in advantage. But once he gets sent into disadvantage, if he gets launched, his air drift is bad. He doesn't have any good options for landing aside from neutral B, because it can armor through multi-hits. It's just, his disadvantage is terrible. He can't land very easily at all. Even with platforms, it's still pretty difficult. His air drift is bad. He doesn't have any good options to save him when he's off stage. It's really hard to get back out of disadvantage once you can put it. So keep that in mind when you're playing, because it's really hard sometimes to get out. You really can do some stuff, and it makes me sad that people don't know that. And I hope that this guide helps people understand more about him, because frankly, I feel like he deserves that. If nothing else, he deserves people to know more about what he can do, instead of just constantly bickering about him and what he can do. Let's also mention, his recovery is not that bad. His recovery is bad, but there are ways of returning to stage. I've literally made it all the way back to stage from Blast Zone a couple of times, so it's not as impossible as people think. It's just a lot of stuff you can do. There's so much stuff you can do with this character that is really, really niche, but it's possible. And a lot of top Mac players don't do a lot of this stuff. They don't walk a lot, they're very aggressive, they don't have a whole lot of patience, they don't use a lot of his more niche tech that does work, it's just harder to apply. Most of them aren't doing that. They're not labbing it, they're not trying it, they're not practicing it, they're all just sticking to the fundamentals and the surface level stuff, and that's fine. There's no judgment in that, but it doesn't work because it's all stuff that everybody knows Mac can do already. Everybody knows that Mac can down tilt side B. Everybody knows that Mac can pivot cancel F tilt. Everybody knows that Mac can do all the surface level stuff, but this other niche tech that is useful and applicable if you practice it and you lab it enough and you know how to use it and where to use it, it becomes harder to predict what he's going to do. That's the thing. That's what makes Little Mac hard to fight, is that he's unknown, for the most part, and all the extra stuff that he can do that people never see coming. And I feel like that's important. At any rate, I hope that this guide teaches you guys something, and I hope that you've learned a little bit more than you might have from listening to top players bitch about our character. At the end of the day, whoever you play is who you play, but if you play Mac, I hope this helped you learn something. So thanks for watching.